Once in a time, there lived 3 men in the same place, whose names were Ribbin, Robin, and Levi-Ours. The men were not on friendly terms together, as the other 2 disliked Levi-Ours. On one occasion, Levi-Ours was from home when the other 2, out of revenge, killed one of his cows. On his return, he flayed the cow and dried the hide. He made 2 pockets, which he sewed to the hide, and put in there several pieces of money of different value. He went with the hide to the market town. He was trying at his leisure whether he could find anyone to buy it. He saw a man who had the appearance of being rich come to the place in which he stood, and he made an offer for the hide, but Levi-Ours thought the price too small. Levi-Ours said that they had better go into the inn and have a dram. The gentleman assented, and they entered the inn. Levi-Ours called for such a dram as was suitable in the circumstances, and they got it. When they were about to pay for the dram, Levi-Ours struck a stroke of his stick on the hide and said, "Pay this, hide." The coin of money that was necessary to pay the dram leaped out on the floor. The gentleman asked him whether the hide would always pay in that way. He said it would. Whatever a man drinks in an inn, the hide will pay it. "Do you think," said the gentleman, "it will do that for me if I buy it?" "Oh yes, the very same," said the other. "If it will, I'll give you 100 merks for it," said he. "It is yours," said Levi-Ours, "if you give me that sum for it." The other paid the money and got the hide. The gentleman called for another dram, which they drank together. Levi-Ours bade him strike the hide as he had done, and he would see that the hide would pay as it did for him. The other struck the hide, and it did pay the money. Levi-Ours went away and left it there, and so pleased was the other with his purchase that he called for more drink in the inn. He struck the hide and bade it pay for the drink, but nothing would come out of it. It would pay no more. Levi-Ours went home, and next morning he saw Ribbin and Robin, his neighbours, coming to the house. He was engaged counting the money he got for the hide when the men came into his house. "Oh, Levi-Ours," said they, "where did you get all that money?" "One of my cows died," said he. "I flayed her and carried the hide to the market town. I sold the hide and got all this money for it." "There is a great price," said he, "to be had for raw hides." They went away home and killed each of them a cow. They took the hides off them and dried them. They went with them to the market town and were then walking backwards and forwards asking who would buy raw hides. Several people came their way and were offering some half a crown and some a crown for each hide. They were resolved not to sell them unless they got the same price for them that Levi-Ours got for his. They saw that they could not succeed in that, so they were just obliged at last to return home with the hides. They went to Levi-Ours' house. Levi-Ours left and went out of their way. There was nobody to be found within but an old woman, his mother. It was this they did. They killed Levi-Ours' mother out of revenge towards himself. When he returned home, he found his mother dead. He took the body, and instead of dressing it in grave clothes, he put on his mother's usual dress and went away with it to the market town. When he reached the market town, he looked about for a well, and he saw a great deep well there. He took 2 sticks and propped the body of his mother with the 2 sticks at the side of the well. He saw a number of fine-looking scholars flocking out from a school in the neighbourhood. He asked a boy, who seemed to be the son of a great influential and distinguished man, if he would be so good as go and tell the old woman who was standing near the well that he was wishful to leave and to ask her to come to him. The boy agreed and went to the old woman. She took no notice of him. He returned to Levi-Ours and said that she did not answer him. "You d," said Levi-Ours, "go again and speak loud and resolutely to her and tell her it is her own son wants her." The boy returned and went up close to her, and as he thought she was deaf, he spoke loud to her. As she made no reply, he gave her a push, when down she tumbled into the well. Levi-Ours called out for the town guard and told them to seize the boy that had drowned his mother. The officers came immediately, arrested the boy and put him in prison. Notice was given through the town, with the ringing of a bell, that such a young man had been imprisoned for drowning an old woman in a well. Who did the boy happen to be but the son of the provost of the town? The the provost came to Levi-Ours and asked what he would take on condition of letting his son off, and as an equivalent for the life of his mother. Levi-Ours said it was not an easy matter to say, seeing he had so great a regard for his mother. "Oh," said the provost, "I will see your mother decently buried, and will give you besides 500 merks in consideration of her having been drowned as happened." "Very well," said Levi-Ours, "as you are a respectable gentleman, I will accept that." Levi-Ours returned home. Next day he saw his two neighbours coming towards his house. He commenced counting the money he had got for his mother. "Oh," said they, "where did you get all that money?" "My mother died," said he, "and I went with her to the market town and sold her. There is a high price given for dead old women to make powder of their bones." "Then," said they, "we ourselves will try the same thing." He who had no mother had a mother-in-law, so they killed an old woman each. Off they go next day to the market town with the old women on their shoulders. They walked backwards and forwards through the streets, crying out who would buy dead old women. All the loose fellows and dogs in the town soon gathered around them. As they carried the dead women, they had their feet around their necks and their bodies hanging down along their backs. When they saw the number of people likely to gather round them, they began to get out of the way as fast as possible. Before they got to the other end of the town, there was nothing remaining of the old women but the feet, which hung around their necks. They threw these at last to the people and made off as fast as they could. Levi-Ours, when he thought that they were likely to do him an injury, resolved that by the time of their return home, he and his wife would have a great feast for them. He did so. He spread a splendid table covered with meat and drink for them. He filled a portion of a sheep's gut with blood and tied it round his wife's neck. "Now," said he, "when they come, I will call to you to place more upon the table, and when you don't lay down enough, I will rise and take my knife and stick it into the piece of gut that is around your neck, and I will let you fall gently to the ground. Afterwards I will sound a horn. You will then rise and wash yourself and be as you were, living and well." Ribbon and Robin came to the house. "Come away, neighbours," said he. "You will be hungry after being in the market town." There was as much meat and drink before them as would serve a dozen of men. He was always bidding his wife to put down more and more. On one of these occasions, Levi-Ours rose and put his pointed knife into the piece of gut that was round his wife's neck. "O Levi-Ours, senseless man as thou ever wert, what made you kill your wife?" "Get you on with your dinner," said he. "I'll bring her alive whenever I choose." They took such alarm and became so much afraid that they couldn't eat their food. Levi-Ours rose, seized the horn and sounded it. His wife rose and shook herself. "Now," said he, "see to it that you behave well hereafter and that you don't refuse anything I require of you." Ribbon and Robin went away. When they saw the strange things he could do, they could not remain any longer in his company. "Our own wives might very well provide us with such a feast as we had from Levi." "Our," said they, "and if they do not, we will treat them just as Levi-Ours did." So soon as they returned home, they told their wives that they must prepare them a feast, and a better one than Levi-Ours gave them. Their wives did so, but they were not satisfied. They were always asking for more. "Oh," said the women, "Levi-Ours has sent you home drunk, and you don't know what you're saying." Both of the men rose and cut the throats of their wives at once. They fell down and were shedding their blood. The men then rose and sounded a horn to raise them again. Though they should sound the horn to this very hour, the wives wouldn't rise. When they saw that the wives would not rise, they resolved to pursue Levi-Ours. When he saw them coming, he took to his heels and ran away. They looked at nothing else. But after him, they ran, determined to have his life. He hadn't run far on his way when he met in with a man having a flock of sheep. He said to the man, "Put off your plaid and put on what I'm wearing. There are 2 men coming who are resolved to have your life. Run as fast as you can, or you will be a dead man immediately." The man ran away as he was bidden, and they ran hard after him. They didn't halt until they had pushed him into the deep black pool of Tyan Leoban. The man fell in, and he was never seen afterwards. They returned home. Next day, what did they see on looking out but Levi-Ours herding a fine flock of sheep? They came to the place where he was. "Levi-Ours," said they, "the whole world won't satisfy you. Didn't we think that we had pitched you last night into the pool of Ty and Leoban? Don't you see the sheep I found there?" said he. "Would we find the same if we went in?" said they. "Yes, if I were to put you in," said he. Off Ribbon and Robin set, and off Levi-Ours set after them. They reached, and when they got to the hole they stood still. Levi-Ours came behind them and pushed them both into the pool. "Fish for sheep there," he said, "if you choose." Levi-Ours came home and got everything in the place for himself.